This was my identity.
Nobody talks about how freaking hard it is to be a dentist. What most people talk about is how this affects the patient. What nobody talks about is how this affects us. Dentistry is ready for this. Now is really the time. Welcome back to Wellness in Dentistry. Today we're going to talk about how to tackle those overwhelming tasks or those projects, but how to do it effectively. Because you look at these big things, oh my gosh, I've got to redo my entire SOPs at my practice, or I've got to reorganize my entire kitchen, and then you never do it. Or we're going to talk to you about how you actually do it, some of the research behind that. So, my name is Dr. Kyle Stanley. I'm a dentist, a tech entrepreneur, a speaker, and researcher. And I'm joined by your co-host, your other host, I should really say, Dr. Martin Mendelson, who is a disabled dentist, coach, speaker, and author. And his first book, One Move Makes All the Difference, is available wherever books are sold. And it really applies to what we're talking about today. And together, Martin and I have helped thousands of dental professionals pursue wellness and dentistry. So I really think you're going to like this episode. Martin, I know this is a topic that you are passionate about.
Yeah, yeah. Both in life and professionally too, like
Right.
personal side and professional side. Yeah, big time, big time.
Yeah, so this idea came to me because I have this big bougainvillea that is a plant that we have in on the West Coast. I don't know if you have it everywhere, but I think in more warmer climates, I think it's a Spanish or Mexican plant,
Hmm.
and it has these beautiful pink flowers. You could also have it in orange, different colors of magenta, but it grows fast. At least where I live.
Yeah, it
I mean
grows
by
fast
this,
here too.
it grows so fast.
Yeah,
Like I'm talking like bamboo fast, like
yeah,
inches a day.
yeah.
Okay. And we're putting in this new gate fence in our yard, but I have to trim this bougainvillea back before we can even do the fence. And I looked at this thing, and to describe it to people that are listening, it's probably 15 feet long by maybe 7 feet high, by maybe
Wow,
another 7 feet deep. Okay. It's
wow,
a
that's big.
big, big,
Yeah.
big tree bush plant here. And I want to get it down to about 3 feet high. So I want to take about 4 feet off. And I want to have the depth be cut in half, really, to maybe only be a few feet deep. But I only really have one green trash can. And so I can only fit, like, 3 by 3 by 5 worth of plants in here. And I looked at it, and for multiple weeks, I looked at it, and then I said, you know what? I just need to get started.
Hmm.
And so I
Yeah.
started cutting back a little bit. And really, I did it for like 30 minutes the first day, filled up the trash can so fast. And then I waited for the trash to come and take that away. And then the next week, I did it again. And the next week, I did it again. And I've done it about 4 different times now. And finally, on this past Sunday, I did it and I looked down and I said, you know what? I have removed a significant portion of this.
Hmm.
And I was appreciating the view that we have. It's not obstructing our view anymore. It's gonna allow this space for this gate now. And it really applied to my life. And I think one of the reasons why I've been somewhat successful in life is that I'm willing to do these kind of things. Like, I mean, stupid stuff like cleaning out the garage. Let me give you another example. When we moved into our house, the previous owners had put a bunch of furniture in that garage, and it was filled literally from floor to ceiling. Like
Oof.
there were 5 couches in this garage. There were desks, there were all this stuff. And I wanted to make space, and so I started selling it for them. Because I needed the space. And it took me 6 months.
Mm.
But I did it, and I was able to park a car in. And I remember the day that we parked a car in the garage. It was such like a great feeling. But it was small steps. I didn't do it every day, but many days I did. And there were sometimes I would do it for an hour at a time, 2 hours at a
Hmm.
time, 30 minutes at a time. And I want to apply this back to really, I think practice management is probably the best place to apply this with what we talk about because so many dental practice owners can get overwhelmed with, oh my gosh, I need to do, a new manual for my practice. Where the hell, how do I even start this thing?
Hmm.
And I've learned a lot from you on how to think about this. So I'd love to get your thoughts on first my story and this whole topic.
Yeah, no, I think it's a great story. I think I'd love to tell my personal story before we go into the
Oh
dental
yeah,
stuff
yeah.
too. So, mine didn't involve landscaping, it involved cooking, shocker for those who know me. And this was uh right around Christmas time slash New Year's Eve going into 2020. And I'm a huge fan of Gourmet Magazine when it was around, and I had all these recipes printed on single pieces of paper. Well, I literally had a stack of paper like half a foot high, like no joke. And every time I had to make a recipe, I literally had to go through the entire stack to find a recipe. And so what I did was I wanted to do what my sister-in-law Arlene did, which is every recipe goes in a plastic sleeve and a three-ring binder. And you might think, well, how the hell are you going to do that? And so what I did was I committed to do 10 a night until it got done starting January 1st. And what ended up happening was some nights I did 50, some nights I did 10, but in the end, it was over 600 recipes. But I did it over the course of 2 months by taking it stepwise, one move at a time, so to speak. So, that's my story. And I enjoy that to this day because when I need to find a recipe, it's super quick and it's very gratifying. So that's kind of the personal story. Um, the practice side, it's really interesting because this has been coming up over and over and over again with my private coaching clients relative to team engagement, accountability, communication, and the start of a lot of it is not having those SOPs in place because the SOPs function as a communication tool to set expectations, to set, how to's, all that kind of stuff. But what happens is docs look at the fact that they don't have any, or maybe they're out of date or whatever, and they get so overwhelmed that they don't know where to start. And so the way I like to teach it is basically just start with like what needs to be done. Like, don't do it, just
Hmm.
make a list of all the
Hmm.
things that we need to create SOPs on. And here's the thing, start with the ones that frustrate you most, that have happened most in the last 2 weeks.
Okay.
Then, once you get those down, then you can, shall we say, verbally vomit on a page all the other things that need to be documented. Then you can step into prioritization. Then you can step into building your first one. Don't do all of them. And then you use AI once you have a framework and a template to then scale to the others. And then and only then, and I know I'm going through a lot of detail here. We can go more into it a little later. But once you get that first one done, then you share with the team, and I go through how to engage them and how to communicate this and so forth. But the point is, we're not, eating the frog in one bite, as the phrase goes. We're taking it one singular step at a time to reduce that overwhelm to metaphorically clear out the garage. That so
Hmm.
that's kind of the idea.
And it's funny because dentists tend to be good at this clinically,
Yeah,
meaning like, let's go through the entire mouth and do caries clean
true.
out. Then let's figure out, do any teeth need to be root
Yeah.
canal? Okay, if they do, then let's do that. Then they come back, then we'll prep for this. Then we'll do provisionals. Like, we're so good at this clinically. So I think we have this in us.
Oh yeah.
We just have to get past that first overwhelm of just looking at it
Yeah.
going, oh my gosh, this is so much.
Yeah.
Wow, I can never get
Yeah.
started on this. And I think the big thing that I learned from you is making the steps very granular,
Hmm.
so that when you have 20 minutes, you can say, ah, okay, I can do this first step.
Yep.
Because I think the problem when I've had this problem is that I don't figure out all the different steps and I look and I go, gosh, I really know I have to clean out the garage, but like,
Yeah.
what am I going to do in
Mm.
20 minutes, right?
Right.
And how I did it with the garage was I was selling everything on Facebook Marketplace. So it could just be take pictures of two items, right? So I just
Yeah.
go and take the pictures of two items. Then the next thing would be write whatever the little caption is for each item, post it on Facebook Marketplace, right?
Yeah.
And then after started doing that, then I made space. And then I made space, I find another one. I go, ah, okay, let's take
Hmm.
a picture of this one. Let's do
Hmm.
the comment for this one. Okay, let's sell that one. And it's it's breaking things down granularly enough so that when you have small chunks of time, you
Yeah.
can get stuff done.
And here's the other thing that I've discovered or observed rather. Paging Captain Obvious, the dentist has way too much on his or her plate. Fair. So then we say, okay, how can I have my team help me? Well, let's get very realistic here. Not everybody on your team necessarily has an in-depth education on writing, creating manuals, workflows, etc. It's not a bad thing, it just is.
Yeah.
So you haven't even seen this yet. Like I've literally created a workflow discovery guide where after you've got that first one knocked down, then you engage your team.
Hmm.
And basically you're almost having a conversation, some of which on paper, and it's like what's the workflow we're trying to deal with? What do we call it? What's the purpose of it? Like, when does it begin? How do we know it's complete? And so imagine you're teaching a new team member, don't worry about writing this down perfectly. What's the first step? Then what happens? Then what happens, right? Who's involved? What do you need? Where do things become difficult? Where has this been challenging? Blah, 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 blah. What makes this easier? If you could
I,
improve
I love
one
the
thing.
one that I like to write up in some of these is like, who will do it if you're not there?
Yeah, there you go. There you
Hmm.
go. And so basically what you do is you start to look at these, I like to call them workflows, not SOPs. You look at these workflows as conversations and you're not adding the extra burden of physically writing it, making it look good, any of that stuff, because you can use AI based on the template of the singular one, let me say that again,
Hmm.
singular one that you created
Right.
to then have it mirror it for all the other ones.
Hmm.
And even if you do one a week, within a year, that's 52, give or take, right?
Yeah.
So,
It's it's the same thing with exercising too, I found. It
yeah,
rarely is it that you just get in shape so great and then everything works out. And like
yeah.
what I've found too, especially at the point I'm at now, with being very serious about exercise for multiple years, um, it's really just like the maintaining. It's like the 1%. And one of the investment strategies that I do tries to get 1% on my invested money a week.
Hmm.
And you think like 1%, oh my gosh. But when you compound that over a year, it's 68%.
Yeah, yeah, totally.
It's crazy. But it's 1% of my time, it's 1% of my investment. Like I don't know, there's something to be said about having this whole philosophy in your life of like I can handle hard things by small chunks at a time.
Yes. And I think the other thing we need to realize within the confines of dental practice, getting these things done, leading people, is that what you view and the way you view it isn't the same as your team. And we're working in the exact same practice with alternate realities. Like
Right.
anybody, I'm dating myself. Remember Super Friends? I don't know if you
Hmm.
even remember that, but yeah, Bizarro Superman, where he was
Hmm.
from an alternate universe. Like our teams live on an alternate universe. And
Yeah.
again, that's not a criticism, it just is. And that's all based on neuroscience. And we can go into that in another podcast. But the point is, we also need to remember as we're doing this process to really be focusing on why we're doing this, what happens if we don't do it, and then, as I've been coaching a lot of my clients more recently relative to accountability, is the following. So let's say I'm talking to you, Kyle, about something, and let's say you misstepped and you didn't do it last time. So then you have this conversation, which can only be, or let me rephrase, most effectively had if we had some kind of framework to have gone from the begin with, because that's our common understanding.
We needed an expectation. Yeah, I like that
Yeah.
idea of common
Yeah.
understanding.
Yeah,
Mm.
and then I say, okay, Kyle, so it sounds like we're both on the same page. Why don't you read me back what we've agreed on from an expectation perspective? Great. Okay, thanks. Now, Kyle, I got one more really important question for you. So, I'm asking this question because I'm really excited about the fact that I believe we're now on a different page and we're both on the same page of understanding. How do you feel about that? Yes, of course. So, Kyle, if this doesn't happen the way we just talked about next time, if you were me, what would you do? Think about that for a question, right?
A great question.
So it is about a stepwise process. It is about engaging your team, but it's also about getting people to understand like why the hell we're doing it because you can't assume they understand that. Or you can't assume they're thinking about it in the same way because neurologically, we don't. We just don't.
It's a
So,
great reminder too that no one's going to care about your practice as much as you do.
yeah.
No one's going to, just like what you were saying of your team has a different viewpoint of view on everything.
Yeah.
And I think that's why so many people get frustrated. It's kind of like having children too. It's like your kids don't care about the same stuff you care about. So
No.
they don't care about
And
having a clean kitchen. And, your
yeah.
team doesn't take as much pride in those hand pieces because they didn't buy them. And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's where
Yeah.
so much frustration comes from, I think, is like, and I'm saying this as myself as a practice owner, especially an early practice owner, was I just expected that everybody would care as much as I would care.
And it's not the case. I mean, think about a handpiece, and you just made my brain explode a little bit because where my brain went when you said that was this. It's like this is my bow to my violin.
Right.
Like I can't do what I do for the most part without a handpiece.
Hmm.
And yet for the team, yeah, they understand it's an important piece of the armamentarium, but it's no different than an explorer
Right.
to them. And here's the really important take-home message. That's okay.
Hmm.
What's not okay is continuing to get stuck in the, isn't this obvious to them? No,
Yeah.
it's not. And that's
I was
okay.
like that. I was
Yeah.
like that. Isn't this obvious? Shouldn't they just know about it? Shouldn't
Mhm.
they figure this out? Don't they know this is important?
Yeah. Yeah. And I want to be very clear. I am not giving people too much slack. Far from it. But what I will also say to people with a smile on my face and love in my heart is that if you don't take the effort, and I was faulty at this too, if you don't take the effort to create these workflows, create these frameworks, create these SOPs, you don't have the right to hold them accountable because you've never told them what they need to be accountable to. Then if you sit there and go, oh shit, well, how the hell am I going to do that? It's one at a time, baby. One at a time.
It's
Right.
funny. I was just posting on Instagram for an older episode that we had recorded
Mhm.
months ago. And it was reminding me on one of the quotes that we talked about, which was that setting setting an expectation with someone is telling them what you are going to do when something
Yeah.
happens, not what they are going to do. It's like you can't
Mm.
control them, but you're telling
Interesting.
them if this happens, this is how I'm going to handle it, right?
Yeah.
And it's the same thing. It's like focusing on what you can do um, your thoughts, your actions. And I think so many dental practice owners are so focused on what my team thinks, what my patients do, what my patients think, what,
Yeah.
and you usually can't control any of that.
No,
And so we
no.
have to do what we can control. And so, like in this example, it is your thoughts, number one,
Mm-hmm.
how you're going to organize things, how you're going to go at a big project stepwise and efficiently, how you're going to explain these workflows with your teams, set these expectations,
Yeah.
set the boundaries to tell them what you are going to do if this doesn't happen.
Yep.
It's it's all of this same idea.
Yeah. And I don't do this often on here, but can I do a shameless plug? Let's do a shameless plug. So
Yes.
the shameless plug is not just for my book, but it's for the exercises in my book. And the CE you can get by
Yeah.
reading my book and taking a silly quiz. And
How
so
many CE do they get
it's
for
four
taking
hours.
4 hours of CE for
Yeah.
reading a book that will change your
Yeah.
life?
So you go buy the book wherever books are sold. You go to my website, you click on the CE link, you pay for it, and it enters you into a course where
Mhm.
you take the quiz chapter by chapter. I think it's 4 questions a chapter, so it's 40 questions total.
Hmm.
And they're not hard, but you
Yeah.
do need to read the book. But the point
Right.
is that why am I doing this shameless plug? Because the book can help teach you to start your journey on how to look at things differently, how to think about things differently, how your thoughts are affecting your actions and manifesting the results of your life. So if you feel stuck on this, then start with the book
Yeah.
and whether, because the book's not going to take you long to read, I promise.
No.
And then you can start down this stepwise, one at a time, one move process, shall we
Yeah.
say rather, of dealing with the frameworks or also known as SOPs. So there's a
Yeah.
way to
And
do
guys,
it.
it's a book. It's super cheap.
Yeah,
It's so affordable.
yeah, yeah,
And then you pay a little bit for CE. It's like
yeah.
nothing. All right. Well, let's think about some final thoughts on this topic.
I really think that my final thought is whether it's a dental practice, a bougainvillea bush, or a bunch of recipes, they can all be dealt with, tackled, accomplished one step at a time.
Hmm.
And we get so caught up in having to do this, do this, do this, do this. You've been running a successful practice, however you want to
Yeah.
define that term. Rome does not need to be built in a day. And if you
Hmm.
do, like you were talking about with exercise and you're consistent with it, you're going to be in a completely different place a year from now than
Yeah.
you are today listening to you and I flap our jaws for, 40 minutes or so.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's the same thing. I think that if you can get past that overwhelm and get
Yeah.
started with one task, whatever this is, you can make huge changes. I
Yeah.
know that when I did my first course, when I taught my first course for Your Best Year Ever, which was at the beginning of this year, it was a new course for me then, and we did it over about 6 weeks. And I remember people being like, "Oh, but there's so much to do," because we went
Yeah.
over marketing. You came on and talked to them about team members and setting expectations and all this kind of stuff.
Hmm.
The mindset behind all of this. We had people talking about case acceptance, investing. I even talked to them about like physically organizing your practice and how to set up your sterilization. And like,
Hmm.
it's a lot of information. And I
Yeah.
remember people being like, there's just so much stuff here. And I'm like, do focus on one thing for three
Yeah.
months.
Yeah.
And then next, pick another thing. And next, pick another thing. And like this could take you 2 years to do
Yeah.
if you want to do everything. You don't have to do everything. I mean, we had some people that literally just changed how they schedule
Mhm.
and they went up 20%.
Yeah. I mean, just think of it like a phased treatment plan. That's all it is, right?
Yeah. Totally. That is the great way of thinking about it.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because it's like I said earlier in this podcast, we as clinical dentists are so good at phasing things,
Mhm.
right? But I think it's because we're specialists in this. Like that's what we do. That's what our
Yeah.
skills are for. We don't have the skills necessarily to be specialists in practice management, running businesses, trimming trees, organizing garages or recipes, right? So
Exactly.
yeah, that is really, I think, the final takeaway, Martin, is take what you're so good at clinically of phasing treatment plans
Hmm.
and apply that into anywhere in your life and
Fair.
watch how you get something done.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. I like that.
All right, guys. Well, if you are not familiar with any of the things that Martin and I do, you can go to our links. We've got links there for our online courses, our in-person courses, um, Martin's book, our CE courses. I mean, everything that we do, all free downloads. We have so much resources that we've created for you guys that we really wanted for ourselves when we were going through harder times. So we hope this was a enjoyable episode, and I hope you can send it to someone who may need to get through a big project efficiently. And we'll see you on the next episode of Wellness and Dentistry.
Bye bye.